Have you ever woken up, picked up your phone, and within just a few minutes suddenly felt like you were falling behind everyone else? Someone just bought their first home, someone is building a successful company, someone is traveling the world, and then, the things you have worked so hard to achieve suddenly start to feel smaller. You begin to ask yourself, why haven't I reached that point yet? Why doesn't my life look like theirs? But what if you were never truly behind anyone? What if the reason you are losing confidence is not because of your life, but because of the way you are looking at it every day? We see the best moments of other people's lives, a success, a journey, a milestone worth celebrating. And then, without realizing it, we use those moments to judge our entire life. A journey that is still unfolding, placed against a moment that has already been carefully chosen. That was never a fair comparison, because whether those images are real or only show a small part of reality, they still do not tell the whole story. They do not show the moments of uncertainty, the times they questioned themselves, or the years of quiet effort that nobody ever saw. The most dangerous part of the digital age is not that we see too many images. It is that those images slowly become the mirror we use to see ourselves. A mirror that constantly tells us we are not good enough, not fast enough, not successful enough, and sometimes not even worthy of believing in ourselves. But, perhaps, it is time to ask a different question. If the measurement you are using is wrong, should you still trust the feeling of being less than others? In this video, we will explore the illusions that quietly shape the way we see success, happiness, and our own value. Not to deny the achievements of others, but to rediscover something more important. How do we stop measuring our lives by external standards and start building a life that feels truly meaningful to us? But why does this happen? Why can just a few minutes of scrolling make someone who is working hard every day suddenly feel like they are not good enough? Because we are not seeing the entire story. We only see what appears in front of us, a success, a moment of happiness, an image of confidence, and then we create our own conclusion. They are moving forward, while I am being left behind. But what we often forget is that everything we see is only one part of a much bigger story. Behind a success may be years of quiet effort. Behind a smile may be struggles nobody knows about. And sometimes, behind a perfect image, there may be a completely different reality. That is why we need to look deeper. Not to find out who is pretending, but to understand what is making us lose faith in ourselves. Imagine, you are scrolling through social media. A photo appears, a young person sitting inside a private jet. Luxury leather seats, golden sunset lighting, a designer bag beside them, a laptop on the table. Everything creates a familiar story. I have made it. I am free. I am living the life many people dream of. But what we see is not just an airplane. We see a symbol, a life without pressure, a future that we secretly wish we had. And in that moment, a question appears. Why doesn't my life look like this yet? But the truth behind that image is completely different. That private jet never took off. There was no luxury journey, no elite lifestyle behind the frame. Everything happened inside a studio in Los Angeles, a space designed to look like the inside of a private aircraft. The seat was real, the lighting was real, the setting was real, but the story it created was not. And that is the part worth thinking about. Not because some people can create fake images, but because an unreal image can still create a very real emotion. It can make someone look at their own life and wonder, am I moving too slowly? Am I falling behind everyone else? When in reality, they are simply comparing their real life to a moment created to impress others. But comparison does not only come from carefully staged images. Sometimes people create a different version of themselves just to be accepted by the world. There is something deeply human about this. We do not only want to have a good life, we want others to see that we have a good life. In 2017, rapper Bow Wow posted a photo that attracted a lot of attention online. In the image, he appeared next to a luxury car and a private jet. The message was clear: success, status, a life worth admiring. But just hours later, another image appeared. A passenger on a commercial flight posted a photo of Bo Wow sitting on the same flight. No private jet. No luxury experience like the image suggested. The internet quickly turned that moment into a joke. But behind the story, there was a much deeper question. Why do people need others to believe they are successful? Because sometimes, we are not trying to deceive the world. We are simply trying to prove, I am okay. I still have value. I still deserve to be seen. And this is the biggest trap. When our self-worth depends too much on how others see us, we spend more energy building an image than building ourselves. We try to become someone others admire, but forget to ask, am I becoming someone I truly respect? Because in the end, the biggest problem is not that fake images exist online. The biggest problem is those images can make real people forget their own real value. There is something we need to understand. The problem is not that other people have a good life, success, money, big dreams. All of those things have meaning. The problem begins when we use someone else's life as the measurement for our own value, because everyone is living in a different chapter of their story. Some people are building their careers, some are starting over after a major setback, some are quietly learning and preparing for the future, some are doing small things, but those things matter deeply in their own lives. But on social media, we often only see where other people are standing. We do not see the road they had to travel to get there. So the first step to escaping comparison is not to stop admiring others. It is learning to see things for what they truly are. A photo is not a life. An achievement is not an entire person. A highlight moment cannot tell the story of a whole journey, but understanding that is still not enough. Because when someone has lost confidence in themselves, they do not need more reminders saying, believe in yourself. What they need are new proofs of who they are. Real confidence is not built by repeating, I am good, I am special, I will succeed. Those words may create a positive feeling for a moment. But the deeper belief we have about ourselves is built through what we consistently do every day. Every time you complete something you promised yourself you would do, you build trust in yourself. Every time you learn a new skill, every time you stay committed to a goal, every time you treat your family with more care, every time you create value for someone else, you send a message to yourself. I am someone who can create something meaningful. Those things may never appear on social media. They may not receive thousands of likes. No one may comment that you are becoming successful. But those are the things that build a real person. Because a person's value is not determined by how many people are watching. It is determined by what they do when nobody is looking. Think about a house. A house may have a beautiful exterior, but what determines whether it can stand through the storms is the foundation hidden beneath the surface. People are the same. The most important parts of who we become are often built during moments when nobody notices. Maybe today, your life does not look like what you once imagined. You may not have everything other people are showing on their screens. You may not be where you want to be yet, but that does not mean you are moving in the wrong direction. There are seasons in life that are not meant to prove your progress to others. They are meant to quietly transform you into someone stronger. So perhaps the most important question is no longer, why am I not like them? But, who am I becoming through the choices I make every day? Because in the end, a meaningful life is not measured by how many people know your name. It is measured by who you have become, what good you have created, and how the lives of the people around you became better, because you were part of their journey. Do not build a life simply to make others admire you. Build a life that when you are alone with yourself, you can still say, I am proud of the person I am becoming. And that is how we escape the biggest trap of the digital age, not by disappearing from the world, but by no longer giving the outside world the power to decide our worth. If there is something in your life that you are quietly building but nobody sees yet, remember this: not everything meaningful needs to be proven. Sometimes, the most valuable things in your life are being built in the moments when nobody is applauding. Maybe today, You do not have the life you once dreamed of, but do not let an image on a screen make you forget your own value. You do not need to become someone everyone admires. You only need to become someone you can truly respect, because a meaningful life is not measured by how it looks to the outside world. It is measured by the good things you create when nobody is watching. If this video gave you a different perspective on life, share it with someone who may need to hear this message. And if you want to continue exploring stories about human psychology and deeper perspectives on modern life, subscribe to Life Unscripted, because sometimes we do not need a completely new answer. We only need to look at our own lives from a better perspective.